So whatever it's good morning, good afternoon, or good evening for you in your time zone, we just want to welcome everyone in the Circle of Compassion conference.
Hi, David. Nice to meet you. It's just, what Monica mentioned. She mentioned that compassion evokes innovation and creativity. I feel that, David, that's where I connect to your heart. And I really feel that your Art of Wisdom project in Las Vegas is only showing your vastful heart, a spacious heart, and how you deal with challenges around you and apply compassion as non-compromising value. I would just like to give you the space for you to continue from here, and thank you for being with us today.
I'm going to talk for a little while, not so much visual to start with, but really about how I've spent so many years trying to understand what compassion and what empathy are, and how they fit into my life, and how I can bring it to my work. And it hasn't been easy. It's been very, very challenging, many, many times. But, I think we will get into maybe a little bit now, but also at the workshop around how these values can help us working with underserved populations. So, but maybe first, just as a bit of context. So I've had a lot of different careers in my life. I've started businesses, I've sold businesses. I worked for a think tank in Washington, D.C. I've taught at a university. I ran a meditation center in France. I've been meditating for a lot of years. And of course, compassion and empathy and feeling others is part of a meditative tradition that stretches back for thousands of years. So I've tried to understand how that can address some of the problems and some of the confusion that accompany us living life. So, but probably the one job that I've had that taught me the most wasn't meditating so much. It wasn't running a retreat center. It wasn't any of those things. It was actually a job I had working with teenagers. I was a program director for what we in America call residential treatment program for adolescent youth, 14 to 18 years of age. And I was in charge of 30 boys and 20 girls living in different residences out on the countryside in Northern California. And these young people had all committed pretty horrific crimes. Their behavior was pretty antisocial. And they'd all come from what we in America call juvenile detention facilities, so basically jail, or they had exhibited the kinds of behavior that got them committed to mental health facilities. And my job was, so we had 50 or so kids, and we had about 100 staff. And one of the things that we did, that my job was to gather the staff and the kids together every day, 6 days a week, into a room where we did what's called group process. I don't know if you know group process. I see your head going up and down. Great, thank you. Group process, just briefly, for those of us who don't know, is a situation where the work to uncover what it is that we're working on, in this case, what got these young people in trouble to begin with, we get into that. And as you probably know firsthand, oftentimes anger and sadness and confusion and depression, they're hidden. What's manifesting is kind of rage, street punk, don't care, maybe worse. And what those kinds of presentations, and in our case, our work, these young people were covering up. They were covering up these feelings of anger, of rage, of deep sadness, profound loss, trauma. And our job was to help collectively help uncover that, help the individual contact their deepest feelings. And what they taught me over and over again was that this kind of self-compassion that Monica and Hannah have talked about, this kind of like self-love is available to anyone, regardless of your background. It's innate. It's actually, it's inside of all of us. It's not something special. There's no one who has a special moral compass. That these kinds of opportunities to contact that innate goodness are available to us anytime. And so that's really a message of hope. And that's what one of the main things these young people taught me was that even under the most dire circumstances, or looked like this young person was going to spend the rest of their life in jail, they were able to touch and uncover this basic goodness. And through that cathartic release, perhaps many times, because some of them spent years with us, they're slowly able to contact this innate basic goodness. So, but first, I want to do something where we get in touch with our own feelings, just for a minute. So if you'll bear with me, even if you've never done anything like this, I'd like to encourage you to give it a shot, just for a minute or two. And by the way, if I start using American slang, please, somebody put in the chat or talk to me in the workshop and I'll try and clarify. I have a habit of doing that. So we're going to start with a very short video. But before we do that, what I'd like you to be able to do is, if you're in a chair, put your feet flat on the ground. If you're walking about, please just stop for a moment. And just bring your awareness back into yourself for a moment. And what I'd like just to spend 45 seconds doing is noticing your breath. Just notice your breath. Is it shallow? Are you breathing fast? Are you breathing through your nose, your mouth, both? There's no right or wrong answer, just notice. Now, I'd like you to notice the center of your chest. You may even want to just put your hand on your chest. Is your chest neutral? Is it tight? Is it relaxed? Just notice it. Again, there's no right or wrong answer. It's just noticing. Thank you. And now, can we play a very short video?
The last person I talked to immediately told me to kill myself and then left.
Don't do that. You look like a cool guy. I love the shirt, by the way.
Thank you.
What's your favorite Legend of Zelda game?
Minish Cap.
Hey. What console is that on?
Game Boy Advance.
Ooh, okay, you're a veteran. How old are you?
14.
And is that like a Pokemon hat?
Yeah.
Bro, you're dripped out, bro. Guess what my name is?
I cannot guess that.
Look, I'll give you a hint. What you're wearing.
Ash?
Yes, sir!
Oh!
That's like my full name's Ashraf, but people call me Ash.
Nice.
Yeah, bro. What's your name?
Jesse.
Jesse, don't let the haters get to you, okay?
Thank you.
When that guy told you to kill yourself, how did you feel?
I don't know. I mean, I kind of found it funny just because of how instant it was.
Yeah. I hope you have the best life.
Same here.
Peace, bro.
Peace.
Take a moment and just be with your chest and your breath right now. Everyone's experience may be a little different. But the purpose of that video wasn't to make us happy or sad. My guess is you're already, each of you, in your roles, are already practicing the kinds of acts of kindness that were demonstrated in that video in one way or the other. But the purpose of the video was really to give us an opportunity, offer us an opportunity to see how quickly we connect with that sense. Oh, I can feel that. I know that. I might even have been in that boy's situation before. I know what he was feeling. Or maybe you've been on the side of the person who was talking to the boy. I know that feeling. That is so readily available. And that's the point I'm trying to make with the video. It's like magic, how quickly we can access these feelings and these insights. Because why is it important to be able to access that? Because as Hannah and Monica mentioned, it gives us the opportunity to develop resilience. It gives us the opportunity to reduce burnout in our job. It gives us the opportunity to help create a more compassionate workplace, a more compassionate school, a more compassionate society, actually, which we'll touch on in just a moment or two. And as Monica and Hannah had mentioned, there is a big difference between empathy and compassion and sympathy. But for now, I'll just paraphrase in my own words. Maybe, I hope it aligns with the scientific understanding at this point. But can we just say that empathy makes us feel others' pain and compassion? It makes us feel others' pain. And compassion is the wish to do something about it. So the video, we could feel the pain. And maybe some of us felt, oh, I would like to, yeah, we've been motivated to try and address that in some ways in our work or in our life. And what I'd like to invite you to do now is just for a moment, again, about 30 seconds, 45 seconds, just if each of us could just take a moment and think about what drew you to this work to begin with. Why are you doing the work you're doing? Was it because it was a job? That's okay. Was it because a friend got you the job? That's okay too. Just whatever it is, what motivated you though to try and do this kind of a work of all the kinds of opportunities to make a living that there are? So why are empathy and compassion important when working with marginalized communities? I'm just going to kind of go through this a little quickly. We'll dive into some more in the workshop. But as you probably can imagine, marginalized or underserved means outside the mainstream. So whether it's by gender or social economic status or even age, marginalized means a whole range of things. And one of the things that happens with compassion and empathy is you're able then to level the playing field, where people who are outside the mainstream aren't so outside the mainstream. And it's kind of a subtle thing, but you'll see it if you haven't already. Actually, if you could put up into the slide of Dalai Lama, on the one talking about practicing compassion. There you go. This is why it's beneficial for us. And in my experience, this has been really true. If you want others to be happy, practice compassion. If you want to be happy, practice compassion. So we're at heart social beings. The basis for a happy life is within all of us. And whether you're working with adults or teenagers, lack of housing, lack of opportunity, basically people are vulnerable. We're born into this life. Things have gotten so complex and so confused. We're all feeling vulnerable to some degree. And compassion and empathy are tools. I hate to use that word tools because it reduces it to some degree, but they're actually incredibly irreplaceable, critical tools for helping us navigate the confusion and the complexity of modern life. So in the interest of time, I'm going to go through a few things that we have to practice over and over and over again. We're not going to change the world by practicing these things. But like the Dalai Lama says, we can put a drop into a lake, and with enough drops, the lake fills up. So the first thing is becoming friendly, being authentically kind and genuinely kind. So being friendly. Sometimes you got to force it a little bit, but if you can be genuinely kind and friendly, it can change the mood. Smile. No half smiles. As others have mentioned, neuroscientists have suggested how smiles actually work. These things called mirror neurons. Yeah, it's a fascinating field of study. I encourage you to smile. In fact, there's somebody who told me if you smile 30 seconds a day in a mirror while you're brushing your teeth, it activates these mirror neurons for ourselves. We can actually fire up our own brains just by smiling at ourselves in the mirror. Change places. Try changing places with somebody else. Think about the struggles they've gone through, but also try and think about one virtue they might have. With practice, these get easier to do. One of the things to do is think for a moment about someone who really annoys you. Who is it that just pushes your buttons? Whether it's a work colleague, a family member, politician, then think about the struggles that they have. Think about the challenges they face to live a balanced, whole, good-hearted life because they want to be happy. Lastly, resolve to let go of the resentment. Let's finish with this second short video. It's about 50 seconds, I think.
Turn those lights off.
Which ones?
The ones that are keeping me awake at night.
Charlie, we went through this before, sweetheart.
What?
We went through this before. The rope lights are not in your window.
Honey, I have to put pillows over my windows so I can sleep.
The cops came and they looked at the rope lights. They said they're not shining in your window. But I'll do you this. I will turn them off at 10 o'clock. Okay?
Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I got you.
I don't mean to be a mean neighbor, and I want you as my neighbor.
I got it, Charlie. All right? See what I think what it is, Charlie? I think you just need to come over when you're lonely and talk and have some food and some wine. How about that?
I'm sorry.
And if I'm off and you ain't got nothing else to do, if you want to come on the patio, bring your bottle of wine, come chill with your boy, I got you. All right. Love you, Journey.
I'm sorry.
No, don't worry about it, sweetheart.
So let's put the last quote of the Dalai Lama up, please. Another one. There we go. This can help. This helps me. Just when I feel like, yeah, it gets too much. People are too much. Every human being wants to be happy. No one wants to suffer. It's kind of a very famous quote, but it's really helpful to remember this. And I'll leave you with one more quote. I've got three of them today. One more from an American author who changed my life with a book or two back in the day. It's a quote by an author called Kurt Vonnegut. I don't know, you've ever heard of Kurt Vonnegut? We're all here to help each other go through this thing, whatever it is. So thank you very much. I think my time is up. Appreciate it.
Wow, thank you so much, David.